Lesson 11, Inquiry-Based Teaching Strategy by Provido Godel and Falco Provilad.
Good morning, Mom. Good morning, classmate. Before we start our topic this morning, let me read to you the objectives of our lesson. Number 1, explain the relevance of inquiry in social studies education. Number 2, appreciate the art of questioning inside a social studies classroom. Number 3, create a lesson plan using inquiry-based teaching strategy. Inquiry-based teaching strategy. One of the major goals of the social studies in the Philippines is the development of critical thinking. Having this in mind, Teacher Kevin reflected if he has been able to develop these skills among his learners. He thought that to develop critical thinking, his learner must be able to use their analytical and problem-solving skills. Hence, the solutions to his problem is the use of questions inside the classroom. Question of or inquiry is a strategy that social studies art teachers can use to elicit the desired responses among the leaders. To do so, teacher must know how to make the true relevant question to facilitate discussion. In this lesson, you will learn the art of questioning by discussing its type and usage. What is inquiry? Inquiry is defined as the process of looking and creating information or knowledge by means of questions. Inquiry is a huge part of our community. It means that from birth to adult, we observe, recognize things or events. And from here, we create questions that need to be answered. The process of inquiring begins with the assembly of information and data by applying the human senses such as seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. According to Kumari, Aurora, and Tiwari Shruti in the year 2016. In 1999, White, Shimoda, and Frederickson developed an instructional theory that enables scientific inquiry as part of instruction among a widespread variety of learners, including new one and the slow learners. This could be done to the instructing and instructional methodology that develops the students' metacognitive knowledge and skills following the process of number 1, scaffold inquiry. The scaffold inquiry, teachers should guide the learners in attaining the goals of any discussion. Hence, they must be aware of several techniques that could allow them to surface the learner's knowledge and skills. And number 2, reflection. Reflection, the teacher should have the spontaneity of the discussion depends on the capacity of the teachers to direct and guide the learners. The most important point is for the learners to reason out their mind and to try to assess both sides of any situation that will lead to generalization. And number 3, generalization. This is the optimum part of the process wherein the learners have created their own beliefs and communicated their disposition. Take note that in the social studies, teachers must know how to divert and process the misleading ideas because it may break their motivation and self-esteem. Inquiry-based learning is grounded on rational strategies used to motivate learners to generate responses through the queries regarding issues and events. The learners are seen as active participants in the teaching process. It helps learners to enhance their intellectual capacity through the significance of scientific queries. Some of the benefits of inquiry-based teaching are as follows. Number one, inquiry is dedicated to nurturing the schema of learners essential to create, communicate, and assess answers during or coming from their interest. Number two, it helps the learners acquire and process ideas in a logical way. And number three, it encourages intelligent responses which can be practiced to discover which issue are occurring. To fully understand the strategy, here is the inquiry process. In this model, the roles of teachers as facilitator are highlighted. It is their responsibility to let the learners identify the problem situation, judge the inquiry events, and reply to the learner's entry to augment learning. It supports the learners in establishing the importance of their inquiry. It also simplifies the conversation of the problematic situation among the learners because the responses are generated by them. Hence, they will be able to find connections starting from the question about the topic being discussed.
I am your reporter for today, and my report was all about questioning techniques. Questioning techniques. The act of questioning is most important aspect in this strategy. The teacher must be well exposed in the various ways of posing questions to the students. Having known the different questioning techniques, teachers are assured of the success of their inquiry. Pearson in the year 2014 identified the different questioning techniques that social studies teachers can use. And the first one was might question. This kind of question does not limit the possible response among the learners, but rather it opens up a range of possible responses that allows the learners to reason out. Their answers may not be correct, but their explanation might put all the things right. And the next one was the what if question. This kinds of question is the questions brings out the creativity, speculation, and rationality among the learners. And the other one was different roles question. This type of questions allows the learners to have a glimpse of the possible roles they might portray in the real world. And the next one is the Socratic question, or the Socratic questioning. Socrates has been well known in the history as the master of the incessant questioning to achieve the wisdom. And the other one is the Godfrey question. This allows the teachers to ask the several questions to push or to ask the students or the learners to assure the question or to answer the questions. And the next one was the stingray question. This kind of question leads to a sudden change in the course of the question. And the other one was the midwife questions. From the name itself, their questions are lead or used use it to elicit new ideas to the learners. And the last one is the ignoramus questions. In here, teacher lays or plays the dump for them to elicit response among the learners. And that's all. Thank you. That was all my report.